Yeah, thank you for staying with us on your premium dial today, 95.1 FM. We are now on the Tech Talk segment of the show. Now, while Lagos has long dominated Nigeria's tech conversation, innovation is rising across cities like Uyo, Kaduna, and Enugu, driven by bold thinkers and ecosystem leaders. Today, we are going to explore how regional hubs are shaping the future of tech in Nigeria. And I'm joined on the show by someone I met last year. I think that was the first time I was meeting him. Hanson Johnson. He's the CEO and founder for Start Innovation Hub. Hanson, thank you for joining me on the show.
Thank you very much, Paul. Good to be here.
Yeah. Yes. Now, for those who are listening to us, you can watch us live on Facebook. You can watch us live on Facebook at Today 95.1 FM. You can watch our conversation live at Today 95.1 FM. Now, Hanson, now, when we talk about regional innovation in Nigeria, what does that really mean to you?
Anyway, you take to me. All right. So, from the name being implied, region, we need to look at our region. We SWOT what we have within our region and check out our strengths, our weaknesses, the opportunities out there, and the threats, and we leverage our areas of strength, to explore the opportunities there and innovate around those sectors. So since I am in New York, Kwai State, I'm in the Niger Delta region. So we need to innovate around agriculture, around the blue economy. We're in the coastal area, so around oil and gas. So we don't need to go and innovate around what Elon Musk is doing. Let us do what will help facilitate the growth of our economy with respect to empowering our region here.
Oh, okay. Now, Lagos has long been seen as Nigeria's tech hub. What other regions do you think are doing something different now?
I think the internet has made the world a global village. So it's not just about other regions. All regions, everybody, all corners, people are trying to do one or two things, because that seems to be the only way out of the present predicament. You can see what's happening in Iran. We're in Iran, and oil fuel prices going up per second, just because a country is not, being able to do what they're supposed to do because of the war. So everybody is active in our region. People are trying. As far as technology is concerned, it is a knowledge-based economy. So people are trying to build capacity. They're acquiring tech skills. So the lowest hanging fruit for anybody anywhere in the world is to acquire the relevant ICT skills that you need to play in this. So people are trying to become software developers, machine learning engineers, cybersecurity experts, data analysts, and the likes. You don't need Godfather to acquire a skill. So people are doing that. And once you acquire a skill, next is to harness these skills.
What potential exists in cities outside Lagos?
So these days, there's a project I have been part of, and it was exploring renewable. Anyway, I am the chairman of the Innovation Support Network of Nigeria, the largest network of innovation hubs in Nigeria, with over 230 innovation hubs across the country in 32 states. And we have been exploring the possibility of leveraging regional innovation to help, contribute to the development of our digital economy. We've explored Nigeria, and we have seen that some people are very vast in mining. So there's no need to force someone whose local economy is powered by mining, to come and do what Lagos is doing with trade, or what they are doing in Onitsha with trade. So when you get to Onitsha or the East, you can innovate around trade to facilitate what is already powering your economy. If you come to the Niger Delta, let's innovate around oil and gas, agriculture, whatever around the blue economy, specifically. If you go to the north, look at what is prevalent there and see how you can leverage tech to facilitate the rate at which people become self-sufficient, financially free, leveraging technology. So these are the things that the regions that we are working with are trying to, adopt and see how that can help.
Interesting. But what are the biggest challenges innovators face in regional tech ecosystem? What are those challenges you think they face?
infrastructure.
Infrastructure.
We as on this call, infrastructure happened. I got disconnected. I got disconnected, and to come to think of it, I was on a Wi-Fi in the office, right? So that disconnected, and I have my data in my backup running. So both of them fell. At the same time. So infrastructure is a thing. When I say infrastructure, it covers power, internet, healthcare, roads, office, housing, water, all those basic things that you need so that you can think ahead. We don't have them. So government should, and unfortunately, it's government's responsibility. We can only hold them accountable until they do it. So government has to fix infrastructure. So if you fix infrastructure, people are going to be able to innovate around what is available, and that will now attract funding. I don't like saying that funding is the problem. When funding comes, where will funding go to? There's no way funding will go to. Let us make our people investment ready. Then the investment will see them on the problem. Yeah.
Now, let's talk a bit about funding. Do you think that funding is still heavily centralized in Lagos? If yes, why?
Anyway, because you said heavily, yes, it is heavily centralized in Lagos, but there is funding now in Kaduna, in Kano, in Uyo, in Enugu, in Port Harcourt. Funding has started going around. Why? Thank God for the internet. It's an enabling platform. With access to the internet, you can innovate from anywhere, right? So, but Lagos still takes most of it. Why? There's a private sector economy that supports you to innovate around them. All the HQ, headquarters of corporates, almost all of them are there. In short, 99% of them are there. It facilitates decision making. If you're in Uyo, for example, and you want to work with a company that the headquarters is in Lagos, the branch in Uyo cannot take that decision. So you have to be able to connect to the Lagos HQ for you to get that result as fast as you can. And people don't invest in businesses, they invest in people. So it is easy to meet someone in Lagos, become friends, they get to know what you are doing, and they are willing to identify with your success. As compared to Uyo, and the people in Uyo don't understand what we are doing. Uyo people say they are still going to Lagos invest, So government should also be able to focus on their own environment, focus there, pick one thing, and let your state be known for that thing. And innovators will innovate around that, and funding will also depend there.
Interesting. Now, how do you think regional hubs can attract investors and global attention? How possible? How do you think that can be made possible?
So it is easy on paper. It is easy on paper. It takes a whole lot to be able to harness what it takes to cook the whole show, right? So, but the approach is you have to identify what you want to focus on, and there has to be a framework, there has to be an economic blueprint, there has to be an economic plan, economic development plan, and not just from your company, but from your state. So if your state has maybe a 50-year plan, and their body language shows that they are working towards making this possible or achievable, that alone would enable them identify private sector players that they want to work with. And these private sector guys can also strike international partnership that will facilitate the achievement of this thing. So for you to be able to attract this global attention, you need to, you don't need to compete with Lagos, but you need to complement what. So if Lagos is hiring well, why don't you be a pipeline for them to hire? And while you are becoming the pipeline, you are also innovating around what will attract Lagos to want to identify with you away from the pipeline. So if the world is suffering from oil crisis, fuel price crisis, we're in Niger Delta, what can we do around this? I don't know of any functional refinery around here. I don't know of their challenges, but I know supposing there are refineries around here, there is something that digital can do. I was in SAPE conference earlier this year in a hotel, and the challenge that was identified and everybody could connect to it was that the veterans, all those guys that have been in the industry for the past 30 years, they'll be retiring soon.
Yeah.
And all the things that they have acquired, there's no way they are backing them up. There's no AI knowledge management system. The Gen Z that are coming in, they are at the risk of starting from zero to learn what someone has already learned and understood in the past 35 years. So how can we carry these things, preserve somewhere, so that these guys can query and learn from there and be able to, act fast and develop our economy? That is how technology can leverage what is already there as a challenge and make life easy and the economy grows. So it still boils down to us not seeing AI as, let me use AI for example, not seeing AI as a job taker, rather as something that we can leverage on and become smarter. And once we are smarter, we can think smart, think fast, and innovate fast, and live a better life faster too.
Interesting. Now, how can we bridge the gap between talent and opportunities? How do you think that is possible?
Yeah, they often say that talent is everywhere, which is true, but opportunities are not. Yeah. So for there to be an opportunity, there has to be a thriving economy or an idea that something is about to thrive. Because if you are starting something, there is hope. And if you are starting, you need people to work with. And one of the greatest challenges we are facing in Nigeria, in Africa, in the world, is access to talents, access to technical resources. So it is very difficult to find who you can work with. We that are in the talent management space, we've seen where it is very difficult to work with entry-level talents because they don't have experience. We have also seen how it is very, very expensive to be able to coach or have access to one experienced talent with 10 years experience that can work without supervision. These are the guys that can solve your problem. And they are not jobless. They are already working somewhere. They are doing well. So for you to be able to attract them, so you have to be very good in terms of beyond salary, every other thing that you need to attract and keep talent. So regionally, nationally, we have to be more deliberate in solving problems. We don't need to, we don't need to fund just opportunities. We need to deliberately fund to be able to attract the right talent and enable them to develop the economy the way it should be. Gone are the days that we give people opportunities because you know them, because you're classmates, because they are relatives, because they're in your political party. If we want Nigeria to develop, we have to face the real elephant in the room and make sure that the right people have access to the right opportunities.
Interesting. Now, how can government better support regional tech growth? What do you think government can do to support regional tech growth?
First, you have to explain to government what you mean by regional tech growth. Government needs to understand. They need to not just understand, really, really understand, because anything you don't understand, you will not fund it, you will not support it. Even me, if I don't understand something, like how do I support what I don't understand? It is what I have seen the end from the beginning. So that is the mistake I assume we have been making too. So as compared to trying to get government to do what they don't understand, we should be able to get them to see the end from the beginning, and they will naturally want to support it. I believe so.
Interesting. But do you think we are training people with the right skills for today's global tech market? Do you think that's what we're doing?
Yeah. Nationally or generally, with respect to our population, I would say no, because our curriculum does not say so. But thank God for the tech hubs who have taken it upon themselves to be able to bridge that gap and build the capacity of young Nigerians with the right tech skills within their capacity. We're not doing enough as we should. But instead of folding our arms, we are able to pick what we can, a fraction of the population, build capacity and facilitate them having access to opportunities that can make them financially free. And we have seen how that has played out. We have amazing success stories. These guys have grown to become role models in the society. And do you know what? Right now, people want to be like them, as compared to before now, that the only thing that we want to become like is a politician, personal assistant, special assistant, commissioner. Why? Those were the only people you see around that look successful. But today, with technology, we have seen developers, cybersecurity experts, data analysts, and people in the tech space doing what? Startup founders. A young guy with under 30 years will just go ahead and raise up to $20 million and do amazing stuff with international attention and investors. So those guys are becoming role models. And in the next 20 years, I am very, very sure the story will be different.
Interesting. But what role do you think tech hubs and innovation centers play in shaping local ecosystems?
These guys are trying to survive first. So they are trying to survive first. If you don't survive, you will not stay alive to solve these problems. So tech hubs, you can't work without people. That's very fundamental. You cannot work without people. So what tech hubs are doing, they are trying to identify the people they can work with. So it's an ecosystem thing. And in ecosystem, you interact with the environment. So if you are developers, you have to interact with the UI, UX, the designers in the room, with machine learning engineers, with the business developers, with the legal guys, with operations guys, even with government, financial institutions, innovators, founders. It's an ecosystem. So the hub we have, the role they play is to bring these people together to form a community and facilitate that relationship to happen so that founders can build the relationships required for them to solve the kind of problem they want to solve for the sake of our economy and the ecosystem. So primarily, that's the role the hubs are playing. And in doing this, the number one item on the agenda is to make our founders and their ideas investment ready, because we know that there is capital, but the only challenge is that these capital cannot see where they want to go to. I have been where there is capital, there is a blank check, there is nobody to fund, because there's a process to accessing this fund. And if you stop looking for money and you focus on solving the problem and becoming investment ready, you'll be having a new problem, which is which investor should I allow to fund me, as opposed to there are no investors. Yeah.
Interesting. Now, how important is community in building a thriving ecosystem, tech ecosystem?
So before now, we used to think it is code before community. But trust me, it is community before code. Build a community first. Nobody should rush to go and start a business or build a company without having a community. Build a community first. After having a community, ask your community what problem they are facing. When they tell you the problem they are facing, come up with possible solutions to their problems that they can pay for, and this solution is sustainable. Once they agree that your solution can solve their problem sustainably, and you can make money and they are willing to pay, go ahead and build that solution for them. Give them the test. They will test and give you feedback. Whatever they tell you to do that they want in your solution, please go and do it, whether you like it or not. You are not the one to use it and pay. They are the ones to use it and pay. So community first, solve their problem, have customers before you provide any solution. Have customers before you sell your product to them. Let them tell you what their problem is, what they want as a solution, and you build and agree with them how much they want to be able to afford your solution. Once it makes business sense, build and sell to them. If you follow that approach, you will not complain. But if you think we have a problem and you go and come up with your solution and build your text, not only you will use that, we will not use it because you not consult us. So these are the tiny things that they may not teach you in school, but this is what you need to do if you must have customers and build a sustainable business.
Because of time, our conversation has been interesting so far. Because of time, what strategies do you think can help retain tech talents in regions instead of them moving to bigger cities and maybe abroad too? What strategies do you think can be implemented for that to happen?
So I have done this in the past 11 years, and young people want a better life. They don't want tech. For example, tech right now seems to be what is giving them better life. If farming gives them better life tomorrow, everybody will move from tech to farming. So young people want a better life, and they don't want gatekeepers. They don't want to bribe to have their way. They don't want someone saying, I have it, if see me first before I can give you. So we have to, the strategy we have to deploy, there must be no gatekeeping. If there is an opportunity shared to everybody as it is, there must be no gatekeeping. There's nothing to gatekeep yet. There must be no gatekeeping. Share information. Look for opportunities first before coming to train people to fill in opportunities. If you go and train because you know how to train, you will not have where to offset them to. So, work with employers. It's a demand and supply thing. Let there be more demand, then you try to meet up with the supply. Thank you.
Yeah, because of time, I'll ask you my two last questions together so that you can answer them in the next 60 to 90 seconds. Now, which Nigerian cities do you believe are the next big tech hubs? That's my first question to you. And why do you think they are the next big tech hubs? Now, my final question to you is, what will be your advice to young people in underserved regions trying to break into tech? What would you tell them? So those are my two questions I have for you.
Okay. So,
the first one is, which Nigerian cities do you believe are the next big tech hubs and why? 60 seconds, please. The next one, 60 seconds. We're out of time.
Question, there's no direct answer to that question. But I know that Kaduna is doing something amazing. I know that Katsina State is doing something amazing. I know that Kanu is doing something amazing. These places I am mentioning, I know that Enugu State is doing something amazing. These places I am mentioning are the places that the state governments are very, very intentional with developing the digital economy. They are backed up with funding, with agencies, with ICT agencies, with capacity building, with access to funds, with startup acts. They have gone ahead to formulate their own local startup acts, domesticating it. So from policy to funding to infrastructure, you can see intentionality in making sure that in the next 5 years, the story will change. So I'm expecting something unique to happen from Kaduna, Katsina, Kano State, Enugu State, I think Plateau State also.
Interesting. My final question in 30 seconds, so please, what would be advice to young people who are in underserved regions that want to break into tech? What would be advice to them?
If you are in the underserved region, you have to try to locate the nearest city. If you're in River State, for example, you may want to move to Port Harcourt. There are some elements of infrastructure there, maybe tech hubs, opportunities, events that will help sharpen you and put in the right shape of mind to be able to do what you want to do. First, move to where you have access to more information and opportunities and try to innovate around them.
Hanson Johnson, CEO and founder, Start Innovation Hub. Thank you for joining me on this segment of the show.
Thank you, Paul.